Tens of thousands of people have come down the Mall into the area around Buckingham Palace. Every now and again, like just now, we get a ripple of applause from the crowd as they hear or see something. We, just in the last 10 minutes or so, saw a motorcade heading into Buckingham Palace, which I think, from memory, was probably the Prime Minister's motorcade. There's about 5 vehicles accompanied by police outriders heading into Buckingham Palace because, of course, the Prime Minister and her cabinet will have an audience with His Majesty the King at 2:30 this afternoon. Now, as we speak, the Archbishop of Canterbury is currently having an audience with His Majesty. After 2:30, the cabinet, there will be a meeting, this time with the leaders of the opposition political parties, who will be coming here for a meeting at 3 o'clock, and then at 3:30 the Dean of Westminster. So this very busy day for the monarch continues as he holds these very important meetings with dignitaries, VIPs, members of the cabinet and others, following, of course, that accession ceremony. And you were mentioning there, Mark, about the numbers here. It is quite remarkable, but no surprise. Really, we thought that given the numbers that came over the last 2 days in pretty horrendous weather conditions, torrential rain showers, there were many thousands who turned out on those first 2 days, and of course lots of people were at work. So in the first couple of days, the people that were coming down here to Buckingham Palace many of them were tourists in the area, people that lived locally in London that could get away for lunchtime or get away after they finish work and alike. But now what we have, of course, being the weekend, is that people have come down here from all parts of the United Kingdom, and that will follow in the days that follow this as we head towards the funeral for Her Majesty the Queen. More people from throughout the United Kingdom will come here to London to pay their respects and just to be with others outside Buckingham Palace and other royal residences, not just in this capital city but in Windsor, up of course at Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh, where we know as is tradition, because the Queen died when she was at her royal residence in Balmoral, that the body of Her Majesty will be taken down to Holyrood Palace first of all, before going to St Giles Cathedral for a service there, and to lie in state for some time before Her Majesty is then brought down to London again as the preparations continue for her funeral. You were mentioning just before you threw to us here at Buckingham Palace about Crathy Kirk and the other members of the royal family. That is absolutely in keeping with what they would do. Of course, the bulk of the family that could stay up there in Balmoral with their beloved mother would absolutely do that. The King, of course, had to come down here to London for the accession ceremony and his other very important duties. The Prince of Wales, of course, now had to come down as well to accompany him. But, as you say, the Princess Royal and other senior members of the royal family still up there and heading to Crathy Kirk. It's a little church that I know well from my time up in Scotland and living and working in Aberdeen and covering the royal family. Every time they were up in Balmoral, it was a place very special and dear to the heart of Her Majesty, and many people actually remarking that it was in a way very poignant and very fitting that a place that she really loved so much was the place that she saw out her final days and final hours. But as I say, the scene is now set for all of the ceremonial that will follow in the days ahead, with Her Majesty's body brought first of all to Edinburgh and then, of course, down to London. And all the while here, people are coming in their tens of thousands to pay their respects at Buckingham Palace.
And Mark,